All right, welcome everyone to the Air Conservation Commission meeting. This is Thursday, March 11th, 2021. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberation through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and Zoom. The public may participate remotely by following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For the Zoom meeting information relating to remote participation, please contact Joanne Kristoff, Conservation Administrator, at concom@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8249, or Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager, at cantonellis@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220. We have in attendance with us this evening. Is Mark with us this evening, Phillips?
Yeah, he's the one hiding in the grass.
He's hiding
Yes, he's here.
Okay, all righty, thank you. So we have in attendance this evening, Jen Amaya as member, George Bacon, member, Jess Gugino as member and clerk, Mark Phillips, vice chair, myself, John Schnellenberger as chair, and Joanne Kristoff is our conservation administrator. Do we have a confirmation of agenda?
Yes, the agenda is good as it's written.
All righty, motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Approval of the meeting minutes for our last meeting, which was
The 25th.
the 25th,
Yes.
February 25th. Thank you for writing those up for us, Jess, as always. Nicely done. Any comments, corrections? All right, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 25th as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by George Bacon and seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Is there a payables report?
There is not a payables report. We did not pay anything.
Very good. Nice. Then we shall just move on to our first item this evening. It's a public hearing, notice of intent to Nemco Way. Joseph, is it Bastille? Bastille, thank you. Titania Oils, Inc. We do not have a DEP file number yet. So would whoever is representing Titania Oil, if you would like to give us a rundown of what you're proposing.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I checked in with Kimberly Roth earlier about the fact that we don't have that DEP number yet, and I'm just waiting for her to get back to me about that.
Okay.
So I am not the only one representing here tonight. We've also got someone else from Epsilon Associates here, and we've got Scott Whitney, the design builder from Concord Building Services, and Paul Chisholm, project manager from Keach Nordstrom Associates, and a random smattering of a bunch of other people, but those are the main folks who might chime in if there are questions.
Well, welcome.
Do you want me to share my screen to see a picture of the project area?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's see. All right, can people see that?
Not yet. Oh, there we
Yeah.
go.
All right, so we've got it. This is the project site location about right here. There are two proposed pieces of this project. The first is a single-story addition on the buildings that are currently located at 1 Neemco Way. Those are office buildings, distribution centers for Catania Oils. Let's see. You can see the outline of the proposed new building addition in this picture. Is going to be located on the southern corner of the existing buildings. And the construction of this new building will require the filling of an existing stormwater detention and infiltration pond. You can see shaded in light blue, located south of the buildings. This detention pond is currently collecting stormwater from runoff from the property itself, as well as the residential communities west of the property. And it discharges water to the large BVW that you can see east of the property through a culvert, which is shown by the dark blue hydrologic connection on the map. So this detention pond, as well as the boundaries of that large BVW, were delineated by Epsilon on December 20th, 2020. That large wetland complex is located off property and well over 100 feet away. So there are no proposed impacts to wetlands, buffer zone, or any jurisdictional resource areas. And the second part of this proposed project is upgrades to the stormwater system in response to the filling of that stormwater detention pond on the southern side. These will include relocating the current capacity of all that stormwater runoff to a subsurface infiltration system on the northeastern corner of the property, where the parking lot is currently located over this area. And upgrades to the system will include a greater capacity for treatment of runoff, upgraded underground infiltration systems, and better treatment for groundwater recharge. So all of these upgrades will conform to the stormwater management system performance standards listed in the stormwater management report included with the notice of intent. And later, if there are any questions, technical questions regarding that stormwater system, I will defer those to Paul and Scott. Again, going back to that man-made pond, it's a body of water that's less than 10,000 square feet in size. It's part of a stormwater system that was designed in accordance with the stormwater management standards. It was specifically built as a stormwater impoundment, so it does not fall within the Wetlands Protection Act jurisdiction or the Town of Ayer bylaws protection. There are no bordering vegetated wetlands around that pond, very steep slopes. It's interesting to get around in wintertime. And the proposed changes to that stormwater management system, which does, according to the Wetlands Protection Act, entail work other than maintenance that may affect stormwater management system, that discharge, but all of these changes are going to be upgrades to the system and will hopefully allow for better infiltration and better treatment of the water that is being discharged. When it comes to the construction of the building addition and the changes to the stormwater system, we'll have several construction best management practices in place. All the work areas will be surrounded by silt fence and straw wattles. Dewatering of that pond when it is filled will entail damming the pond by its outlet culvert with a coffer-dam, and the water from the pond will be piped east towards an easement that the current property owner is allowed to use about 20 feet up gradient of the culvert that it is currently discharging to, in an upland area into a filter bag that will be underlain by crushed gravel and a geotextile fabric and surrounded by hay bales in a flat upland area about 20 feet away from that culvert. So we will be doing everything we can to make sure that the discharge water going into that wetland is clear. The dewatering process will be done over several days, in addition to take the large volume of water that we're pumping out of that pond, and to make sure we don't explode that sediment sac. Additionally, any stockpiles that are on site will be positioned on top of existing asphalt surfaces. They will also be surrounded by straw wattles. There'll be 2 stockpiling areas in the northern parking area and the southern parking area. Construction access will be through the 2 current entrances to the parking lot, one along Neemco Way, one along Westford Road, and those construction entrances will be outfitted with gravel, a coarse gravel aggregate, so that it prevents any sediment from going onto the road outside of the construction area. All the catch basins on site will be lined with silt sacks or an equivalent inlet protection. All disturbed areas will be stabilized, mulched. Final stabilization will happen within 3 days of the finishing of the project, and all temporary erosion controls on site will be inspected weekly and within 24 hours of a 1/4 inch rainfall. So, given this proposed use of construction best management practices for the new building and the stormwater management improvements, we believe this project complies with Wetland Protection Act regulations and bylaw regulations as documented in the notice of intent, and we respectfully request an order of conditions.
Thank you. One thing that caught my attention in your talk was the filtration bag. Did you say exploding or
I've only heard of that happening.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, because that's my question. Does that happen?
I've only heard of it happening once, but we're going to be putting the water into that bag over a long period of time, so only discharging a little bit at a time to make sure that that doesn't even come close to happening.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions from commissioners?
I could not look at the notice of intent when I tried to do the link. It came up with an error message.
Which browser are you using?
Safari.
You might want to try using Google Chrome or Firefox. I find that extensions like that, sometimes it just helps if you use a different browser.
I had a similar issue with Chrome, so maybe Firefox.
Oh, maybe. If you want any pieces of this notice of intent emailed to you, it is quite a big file, but if you wanted just the text, I can always send that along via email.
Yeah, the text would be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll send that along to Joanne to forward.
Yep. She knows where to find us.
Okay.
Do.
Mark, you have any thoughts?
So first question I have is, when the original detention pond was put in, was there an NOI filed at that time and order of conditions identified at that time?
We looked and we couldn't find anything. I don't believe, I don't know. We can look a little further and get back to you, but that's not something that we actually know.
When was that originally constructed?
Paul, Scott, do you know when that was originally constructed?
I think Paul actually did an analysis on that. I'm going to defer to Paul Chisholm.
Yeah, Paul Chisholm here with Keach Nordstrom. I don't have an exact date. What we did is we were able to find, we have a range sometime between, I think, 1996 and 1997, something like that, or 1998. It had to do with the original construction of the building. There was actually a pond, and you can actually see it on the USGS map if you want to scroll back up to that. There was actually seemingly a pond on what is the Nasoya property right next door. If you can kind of zoom in there, Carolyn. that I think was probably the original pond for the area that when the Nasoya plant was built, my guess was relocated, or when this whole area was developed, was relocated to this property. You can see it's just off the extent of our proposed site here. So I don't have an exact date. I don't think anyone's really been able to nail one down, but just doing some map analysis and Google imagery, historic imagery and stuff like that, we can kind of narrow it down a little bit. But Scott, when was the original building put in?
Could I request that from Dan Brackett
1996.
or Joe Basile? Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
So 96 was the original Catania building or the Nasoya or both? Do we know?
Tanya.
Okay. So yeah, Joanne, I guess I was wondering if there, might there have been some items in there that needed to be kept in perpetuity in that order of conditions? I was just curious. So that's kind of why I was asking. So by filling in the detention pond and things like that, is there anything that we would run afoul with? It's really my question about that. I'm wondering how we would investigate it then. Is that something in our awesome file cabinet we could find?
I'll look. I can also ask the building inspecting department to look up a building permit date that would give us that information, but we file by address in the paper file cabinet, so I should be able to find something for that address.
I don't know if Jess or George, again, if you guys were around on the committee at that time, but again, based on what we just, what was just described, right? If that wetland was moved, right, there probably was some sort of order of conditions, be it on Catania's property or Nasoya's property or whomever owned it prior to that. So there's got to be something. You kind of typically just don't move a wetland.
We have 1 minute left.
We might have in the 90s. George, do you think they did? I don't think they did many perpetual conditions back then, do you?
No, I don't think they did any. There was another permit taken out several years ago. Were you there then, Jess?
Maybe.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that was just finishing up when I came, and I remember Kate doing an inspection or something on some kind of minor addition to the building.
I was with the railroad siding, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for that too, and they put in a cover over one part of the building for railroad car to come through.
Yeah, 2016, 17. So that'll definitely be in the file. Yeah.
There any other questions? Briefly, we only have a little bit of time.
Yeah. So just again, going back on the culvert or whatever. So that detention pond would be drained. Whatever's left in the bottom that may have settled in there is scraped, removed. What happens with that? You may have said it, but I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I believe.
Question, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Sure. We did a pretty thorough geological study on this, geotechnical study on this, and we've got about 15 inches of sediment on the bottom of pond. So after the pond is drained, we will remove the sediment and it'll be shipped off site in watertight trailers and disposed of properly.
Okay.
We're at time.
Okay, that's all I got right now, John. I'm sorry. Thanks.
No, Mark. No, thanks. Appreciate your questions. Anyone else have any thoughts or questions briefly?
What about a site walk?
Yeah, exactly. We need to, before we can really proceed, we need to do a site walk. It was suggested that March 20th would be a possible time for a site walk. This coming Saturday, I guess, is not going to work. But the following, does that work for others?
As long as we keep it earlier, then I'm fine.
As long as we keep it what?
Earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, or earlier than
Yeah.
that?
That's fine.
All righty. How about, would that work for us to come by at 8:30 on March 20th to take a look-see?
Definitely works for me. I'm sure that Deanne, Joe, sure some. Yep,
It's okay?
Works
Okay.
for me as well.
great.
Very good. All right, we appreciate it. We will see you on March 20th at 8:30.
Is there a particular location on the site we should head for? Or,
Park by the cool neon.
Oh, yeah, we can meet by the front door of 1 Nemco Way, and it's just a short walk down the driveway.
By the front door. All right, very good. Thank you,
Yeah.
Paul, for
AKA the cool neon.
the cool neon. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Is there a
Sure.
motion? Is there a motion to continue the public hearing notice of intent at 2 Nemco Way, Joseph Bastille, Catania Oil, DEP file number to be assigned until our next meeting, which will be
325.
till March 25th.
So the problem with 325 is that the agenda is already over full.
Already over full. Then I guess our next meeting, which
Yep.
would be
April 8th.
April 8th.
So moved.
Second,
It was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I,
Mark, how do you vote?
aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. We will see you on site on March 20th, and we will continue with this public hearing on April 8th. Go ahead.
is it possible, since we're, to get maybe a couple paper copies of the notice of intent at that, if we're on the site walk?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, by March 20th. Yeah.
So the challenge I have is when we get these beautifully bound notices of intent, it's really hard to take them apart to scan them to then either share them electronically or what, yeah. So I suppose this one, it would make sense for everybody to have their own. I
Yeah.
think we only need one stormwater report, unless you all want one of these also. No? And I have
It's
two
very interesting reading.
Oh, bet.
sets of
We can share.
Well, if you can do that for us, that would be great.
How many copies should we have prepared?
I
Well,
guess 5.
I'd like one. Who
Yeah.
else
Not
wants?
a problem.
Yeah.
I don't need one. I just downloaded it, so I've got it on my computer, so I'm all set.
Oh,
George?
Mark, can you share that then? Because I'd rather have it electronically.
Maybe.
Maybe. So I got what, 3 copies?
Not a problem.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. All right, our next item this evening is the public hearing notice of intent at 9 Victor Drive. John Matthews, DEP file again to be assigned. Mr. Matthews, are you with us this evening?
Mr. Chairman, this is Seth Donahoe with Dillison Roy. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Matthews.
Hi, Seth. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. I hope you all are doing well as well. So if you'd like, I go ahead and give a brief overview of the project.
Please.
So Mr. Matthews is proposing an addition to his existing dwelling at 9 Victor Drive. It is a 16,000 and change square foot lot and is located on the southerly side of Victor Drive. On the westerly side of the property, there is a area of lower elevation that has a sewer easement in it. And it also has the drainage system for the abutting road discharges through that area. And there's a BVW associated with that low spot. And if it's all right, I'll share my screen and put up a site plan for it.
Yes, please.
And hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yep.
So the existing dwelling is on the center of the lot, and the lot slopes towards the BVW, which is on the westerly side of the lot. There's an existing driveway, which is highlighted in gray here, and the proposed addition is going to be on the westerly side of the site. The purpose of the addition, it's a ranch house. Mr. Matthews does have some equipment and things that he likes to store. Presently, they're being stored outside near the embankment, and he'd like to get them inside a garage for proper storage. The site has a remnants of a slope and a timber retaining wall on it above the BVW that has become deteriorated and it is prone to erosion. So we're also proposing to replace that retaining wall with a boulder wall. It's a terraced boulder wall with each section having a maximum height of 3 feet. And in between the sections of the wall, we're going to plant those with native junipers to help in stabilization, also just for aesthetic reasons. The area below the retaining wall, we are proposing to seed with one of New England wetlands plants mixes, and that'll help vegetate that area. Generally, the wetland in the area, as it is subject to stormwater runoff from the neighboring road, there tends to be some scouring in that area with a general lack of vegetation, and there is some debris in there. So we propose to hand remove those as part of this project and overall stabilize the slope. At this site, the existing driveway is 18.8 feet from the BVW. The proposed addition is within the location of the existing driveway, and it will result in a distance of 25.1 feet from the BVW. Those numbers are called out right here on the plan. We'll be removing this section of the driveway, and that'll be converted to a pervious surface, or excuse me, lawn. And on the sides of the addition, we'll also be collecting runoff with a drip line recharge trench. Presently at the site, the runoff flows via sheet flow to the embankment and directly to the BVW, so we'll be mitigating that as part of the project. We did look at positioning the addition on the opposite side of the house. Unfortunately, that was not possible due to the zoning setbacks on the site. So included with your application, we submitted a waiver request from your recently passed regulations. We've outlined some of the reasons that we believe that this would warrant a waiver. Primarily, this is the applicant's primary residence, and the project will result in an increase in the distance between impervious surfaces and the BVW, along with the stabilization of an existing slope at the site. So other than that, if the commission has any questions regarding the plan or our application, I'd be happy to address them.
Seth, there are going to be two boulder walls. So there's a drop of what, approximately 6 feet? Is that
roughly 6 feet at its highest point? The boulder walls do taper into the slope at one point, so there's only about a foot of exposed rock on one end. Towards the middle where the grade is greatest. That is correct, Mr. Chairman, 6 feet.
Thank you.
And the majority of this is going to replace what is already an existing driveway. What is that driveway made out of currently?
It is bituminous concrete asphalt.
Thank you.
What kind of foundation is the building going to have?
That's a great question. Because it is a garage, this is a slab on grade. So the foundation will be only the 4-foot frost walls. And then the slab is at elevation 251, which is generally the elevation right next to the house, the existing grade. So we're not dropping the grade there, and we're not doing any type of basement or anything.
And does this shed that you're removing have any foundation?
No, that is it's a wooden shed. It's on probably blocks, cinder blocks.
Okay.
Can you tell me what it says? There's a container that's going to get moved. Is that like a storage?
Yeah, it's a temporary, like a sea crate or a truck container. The applicant is using that for storage now. We're proposing to relocate it to a better location and put it on a crushed stone pad. And as it's a temporary item, if he ever decides he doesn't need it anymore, it could be pulled out via the access way we've provided.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts, comments from commissioners? Joanne?
I've got one thing that has come to my attention. Our building inspector, Seth, doesn't allow stone recharge trenches for roof drainage. So roof drainage either has to be captured in gutters and discharged to an underground infiltration structure or something else, but and that's for a house though, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, being that this is a slab essentially above grade,
Yeah,
I could see his concern if it's for basement seepage, if there's
Right.
living space, but I don't think that's the case. We could certainly address that with the building inspector and certainly be agreeable special condition. If that's not allowed, we would put in a precast drywall and collect it via gutters.
Yeah, so checking with the building inspector on that to see what he wants. I know with houses, he doesn't allow that. And then the only other thing, the BVW is in the form of an intermittent stream, I guess. I've had a couple calls from abutters who are concerned about that wetland system. And
Yeah, I've been to the site. There's reason to be concerned. It doesn't look good. It has the upgradient neighborhoods stuff in it. So I do have a picture if you need to see it. It appears to be a stream channel created by the stormwater outfall. Our BVW flagging, we feel delineated early this year prior to the snow, and it's significantly upgradient of the stream location there.
Maybe site visit?
Yeah. Any other questions from commissioners or anyone who is viewing?
So,
via Zoom?
Seth, just to confirm, going back to what excuse me, what George had asked about. So the shed will be removed.
Correct.
That's an existing chicken coop, and so the chicken coop's going to be moved from outside the 25-foot to inside the 25-foot buffer.
Yeah, they'd prefer to move it there just to clean up the backyard. The coop is essentially going at the limits of the existing fenced area for the chickens. And if that's an item of concern with the commission, I can certainly speak with the applicant about it.
Okay, and then similarly, the existing container is about, I don't know, maybe a third inside the 25-foot, but they're going to put the whole thing inside the 25-foot buffer.
Is that a concern for you?
For me, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess I know John asked about the double wall there. Is that the best construction for that? I'm just asking. I don't know what others think about that, but we are definitely getting, so very close there to the edge of the wetland.
Yeah, I think if you do a site visit, I'm either happy to share the photo right now, or if you do the site visit, it's pretty clear that the existing slope, it does need some stabilization. And I think the best thing for it would be a terraced wall in this case, as opposed to a wall in excess of 6 feet. It would just be something that's easier to put in, and then it can provide a permanent barrier with some plantings between it.
Okay. Yeah, I think like you said that, the site walk will help maybe clear that up. I know looking up the street a little bit, I can see there's something there at an outfall that had been created already as you head west up the street up Victor. But I can't see it too well there. So I wasn't sure if that was something that DPW had done, or if that's something that the homeowner had done, or whatever when that house was built. So I was just curious.
It appears to be the DEP sign still up on it. It appears to be something that was before you, I would guess, in the last 3 years, and that is a block wall, probably well in excess of 6 feet on that one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, John, I'm assuming we're heading out there on the 20th then?
Well, that was going to be my next question. How long do you think we're going to be at Catania? 45 minutes?
B.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I'd say 9:30 on this one if we're gonna go one after the other.
Yeah, 9:30. Can you do that, Jen?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Seth, is that okay? March 20th
Yeah.
to come and give a visit?
I will be happy to meet you there. If the applicant prefers otherwise, I'll let Joanne know, but let's assume we'll be out roadside there.
Okay, terrific. And Joanne, can we continue this until April 8th, or is that possible on the 8th?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Anything else from anyone? Then is there a motion to continue the public hearing notice of intent at 9 Victor Drive? Sean Matthews, DEP file number 2B assigned until April 8th.
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second, sorry, as I'm used.
Thank you. All right, it was moved by George Aiken, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye,
Jess, how do you vote?
I,
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. All right. We will see you on the 20th,
Great, looking forward to it.
and we can get a DEP file number for that pretty soon,
Hopefully.
hopefully. Okay, very good.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Have a good evening. All right. Our next item this evening is a discussion review of requests for quote for 2021 ponds weed treatment project. And we have two quotes from two companies, which is exciting. You don't usually just have one. We have a quote from Solitude Lake Management, and we have a quote from Water and Wetland. Both of which seem to be a lot more than we thought. And,
Yep.
Mark, you had asked for a breakdown of payment, like a payment schedule from the two. Is that correct?
What I asked Joanne and she was able to dredge up for us was what it looked like the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020 for what we paid. And so I kind of have them side by side. I'm just getting a chance to look through them, but just as a for instance, right, the conduct pre-treatment surveys in 2019 cost us $1,500, and we're looking this year and it's $4,500, so it's like triple the cost. I'm just looking at the Solitude one. I didn't look at the other one yet, but
Well, and I think for last year, we decided not to do the pre-treatment survey and just use the post-treatment, the end of the season survey as our beginning point, which is why the 2019 and 2020 contract prices were the same, even though the 2020 contract did less work than the 2019 contract.
okay. Yep, fair point. Yeah, as I look down towards the bottom, task 6 was the post-treatment. So right now in the current proposal, they're showing pre and post all together. So that's exactly the same number for 2019. But like you said, 2020 was only the post-treatment, so the 3,000. So thank you. Just looking at these now, and so just trying to line everything up, and it's still kind of like, holy, a lot of money here.
I think the thing to do here is to maybe even ask Bonnie if she would volunteer to update the analysis she did on the 2017 and 2018 weed treatment contracts. To add 2019 and 2020 to her analysis, just so we have a bit of a history, timeline, a cost line. And then I would propose to go through these two quotes that we got and really do a side-by-side comparison
Agreed.
so that we know, because looking through them quickly, I think the two companies are proposing different approaches. And we did put the RFQ out with the language that allows us to change the scope. And I think both quotes also came in sort of as a menu. Although the tab at the bottom of the menu is an awful lot more money than I was expecting.
Oh, one thing I noticed was Solitude. I mean, Flanagan Pond is always going to be our
Flanagan Pond.
Flanagan Pond thorn in the side.
Hey.
It's because of you, John. I know you do something to it.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I noticed Solitude, gave a much reduced option for just treating the milfoil and then recommending a big treatment the following year. But what they're recommending, if we did spot treat for fanwort this year, they're saying that we'd be doing about 2/3 of the pond at a cost of $27,000, whereas the Water and Wetland was proposing a whole pond treatment to begin with, so all 86 acres, and that was just a couple $1,000s more.
Yeah, and it's a different chemical for the whole pond treatment than it is for the spot treatment.
Yeah, they use the Sonar 1 grains, but also the Sonar, the other thing, Regened.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
So I read
Sonar Genesis. Yeah.
That one, right.
So I read through these and maybe I missed it, but did Water and Wetland talk about like how well they expected this to work? Their different treatment?
I think when I spoke with Joe, he was expecting that they would get very good results with the whole pond treatment with Jess's fancy chemical.
Okay, because the price difference isn't huge, so if the expectations are significantly better, then that helps.
Yeah, and that would be a question that we could send on to both companies too. Just
okay.
One thing
They
thought
did
I did
say,
mention in the Water and Wetland is they indicated that they wanted to get in there prior to June because the young plants are affected more
yes.
by the treatment, before they become full grown. And I believe Solitude didn't get in there until mid to late June, I believe, correct?
No, they wanted to get in there early to mid-May.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They just wanted to waive the doing any pre-treatment survey on that because that would delay. They wanted to not have a pre-treatment survey that you can't do till June, really. They didn't want that to delay an earlier treatment.
Okay, I must not have caught that, but okay, thank you.
and I think they were late getting to the ponds this last season because of the pandemic. I think I don't have the whole file here with me, but I think they were a little bit later than they usually are.
but also we have had that condition in that, you know, you need to do the pre-treatment survey, and we're now hearing that that actually creates a problem if you can't actually do the survey until June, but
Right.
treatment for stamwort needs to be started earlier.
Right, and is that the reason why we went to just using the postseason survey as our starting point?
I think so. George, do you remember that?
I lost the connection for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
What was the question?
Well, that we had dropped the preseason or the pre-treatment survey because of
There
so
wasn't,
I have my vaccine today, so I think my mind isn't working well today. But
Well, that's normal, Jess.
oh, okay.
so the pre-treatment, waiting to do the pre-treatment survey meant that they weren't getting the chemicals into the water until they were not going to be as effective as
Right.
they would be if they got them in earlier.
Yeah, so we dropped
Yeah,
that requirement.
that's what I
About 5
remember.
minutes.
Thank you, John. Didn't Water and Wetland state that being aggressive this year in Flanagan's Pond would then sort of lead to lesser treatments next year? Isn't that something that did I read that?
I'm not sure they actually said that. They just did say that Flanagan's was at practically a crisis point in terms of fanwort, and that continuing to do spot treatments wasn't going to get us where we needed to be, that the lake was at a place where it needed a whole pond treatment. But I'm not sure he ever said, and this is going to make it easier to control in the future. So that would be a good question to ask also.
Yeah. Because the amounts from water and wetland are pretty high.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this afternoon, and in the how many minutes left, Jen? 3. We're not going to get where we need to be. I would suggest to you, John, that maybe setting up a committee of 2 commissioners to work with me to analyze these proposals more thoroughly, and then make a recommendation to the whole commission at the next meeting.
Mhm.
Might be a way to actually get this work done.
Okay, that's a good idea. Any commissioners that would like to be on this committee?
Do it.
Jen?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. Joanne, you had said that Bonnie had done something before, so if you have that you can forward on, that would be helpful to have a starting point.
Absolutely, and I think you'll like it. She's a scientist, so it's very data oriented.
A lot to live up to then. Cool.
She would be good to get some input on this too, because I think last year she had suggested maybe we needed to pull back treatment in some areas. And then Jeff, her husband, a couple months ago was saying, keep up with the same treatments. So it'd be good to get, a couple different viewpoints beyond us, but.
Yeah. I'd be happy to help with that as well.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And we'll continue this, I guess, at our next meeting, or will we?
We need to make time for it because we can't
Yeah,
put
we
it
gotta
off.
I know, and I don't know how we're gonna manage that, but if the committee comes with a recommendation, then it can just, it literally could be a 5-minute sort of thing. We've got to get it wrapped up so that we can get our town meeting warrant article in by April 2nd at the latest, and Robert will be really unhappy with me if I show up with it on April 2nd. So we do it after our next meeting. That would
One suggestion I have, Joanne, is because we're still facing this limited time for our meetings and a lot of things coming forward. When we start a public hearing on something like Catania or 9 Victor Drive, I'd probably consider putting placeholders on the following agenda so that we could continue that. And that would then let us we'd have to maybe delay starting another hearing for a different project, but I don't know. That's one possibility so that we anticipate where we're going to need a second meeting and keep that one moving.
Oh, yeah. And if this agenda coming up has been full for weeks with these RDAs, just, yeah. But you're right. In an ideal world, that's what I would just.
And John, just to clarify what you were talking about, at the bottom of the wetlands price, right below that, that's where it says the above program pricing addresses all the issues the ponds are facing and provides for drastic reduction in 2022 costs. I think that's what you were keen on.
Where did you see that, Mark?
It's right below their number.
We have like 5 seconds left, so.
Yeah, I thought I had read that somewhere.
Yeah, me too. That's when you said that, I was like, yeah, where was that?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, thank
Great.
you, Mark.
I didn't read that far. I just looked at the number and said, "Oh my God."
And then when you woke up from fainting, then
Yeah.
oh yeah. So the one last question actually is, so what did we put forth and ask already? Like our number?
30.
35?
30. Okay.
30?
30, 35?
30. I'm pretty sure it was 30.
Okay.
Or whatever we put forward, that's 30 is the placeholder in the draft budget.
And and do you have the figure for what we have remaining from last year?
I do. So we have.
We're officially over time, just so everyone knows.
Okay. We've got $42,456.78
Already in the budget, I mean, already in our usable.
We've got, yeah, that's what's, if I'm reading the budget report from the town accountant, right? Under the column that says remaining revenue.
Yeah.
We've got, yeah.
Any other questions quickly? All right. Sorry, Jan, you got the toughest job.
Okay.
It's okay. All right, we will continue this at our next meeting, and Joanne, you'll be in touch with us to set up some type of a.
Yeah, we'll figure something out early next week.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Our next item this evening is a discussion on Wild and Scenic Rivers Stewardship Council Grant Proposal, and Faith Salter. Is it Salter?
Yep.
Yep. Is she with us this evening?
She is.
I am.
Okay. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us and for doing this for us too. Do you want to go over a little bit about what it is that you've been doing?
Sure. Because there are a couple questions that I didn't know the answers to as well, which would be helpful to sort of figure out where we are with this and things we still don't know, so we can nail those things down as we move forward. But I just had received the grant application, and I just started putting the answers to the questions in the Word document, which hopefully you all had a chance to look at. Then Joanne took your comments and sent them to me in one message, and I attempted to reflect those comments in the draft I sent back to Joanne in advance of this meeting. So hopefully, again, you had a chance to look at that. the items on here that are highlighted are things that I know, obviously we need to know, like, what are we asking for in terms of money? There's one on here that I'm not sure if it becomes a non-starter. It asks on the application, are you a 501c3? And then it says yes or no. If no, list name and contact information of eligible partner. And I don't know if the implication there is that you have to have a 501c3 to be eligible to get the grant. I don't know if anybody knows that off the top of your head. I can, I was hoping one of you would, but if not, I can do a little research.
Anybody know that?
I suppose by the fact that I'd have to be reminded what a 501c3 is in the first place would suggest I don't know the answer to that.
501c3, isn't that a charitable organization?
Yeah, I would
Nonprofit.
imagine that the Nashua River Watershed Association is a 501c3, and the different C's and 3's just to sort of determine what they can and can't do that might affect their tax status. It's one of those things. So I just wasn't sure if this commission typically works with nonprofit for this type of thing. And so if no, I can look into that and see if that's a barrier.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question.
Yes, I would assume, I'm assuming we're a no because we're not a charitable organization, we're a government entity.
Right.
So
But we are a non-for-profit organization. So 501c3 is the non-profit. I think a quick call to the Watershed Association would answer this question.
Yeah, I think so. So that's I was, that's one of those things I was like, oh, someone on the call is going to be like, yeah, absolutely. We know the answer to that. No problem. Sometimes that works.
Ah,
And then, so there, I guess what I should do is there's a page 2 to this that is not reflected in what I sent to you. There's asking about things like what the evaluation process would be, who our partners would be, the timeline, permits and permissions. I don't know answers to those questions. And so I'm not sure if Joanne, if you know answers to those questions. And of course, the big one, which is the last one, is what's the budget for the project? I don't know that either. So I was hoping that we could at least figure out how we can get answers to those questions.
well, so this is interesting. In my searching around to try to find out how much a sign program like this might cost, I contacted a graphic designer that George set us up with for a project in the past. And instead of getting actual answers from her to my questions, I got a list of questions. What size are the signs? Do we need them to be baked enamel? What's the timeline? Are the signs one-sided or two-sided? Is there only wording or is there logos? And also, do they need concrete bases or are they going to be attached to the earth in some other manner? So rather than getting it would cost about, I don't know, $1,000 a sign, I just now know more what we don't know. But I think I can make some progress in the coming week about a budget sort of item.
Okay.
I did ask Cindy, our IT director, about the QR code possibility, and was that complicated? And you'll love this response I got from her. She said, easy peasy.
Got an answer.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. So that's apparently an easy part. So I'll continue working on a price. I think the maximum amount for these grants is $5,000.
I think that's right.
And I betcha once we get into graphics production and installation, that's gonna go pretty fast. So if we're proposing 10 signs, we might be able to fund 5. I don't really know. Or maybe, I guess one organization can get more than one grant if it's 2 different projects. So maybe we have one project is for the first 5 and the other project is for the second 5. I don't know.
Would that be
In the
different
same
years?
year?
Would that be different years or just different projects in the same year?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Questions. It's just all questions.
Sorry.
No, that's what we got to do is we got to figure out what all the questions are.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Right.
What's the deadline for this again?
I think it's April. Yeah.
April 1st.
Yeah.
I was thinking a good use of this time we have together might be to talk about where these signs might go.
Mhm.
4 minutes to talk about that.
Oh, good. Faith,
So
do you have your draft map in a way that you could screen share it, or do you guys all have the draft map that Faith sent?
It was in the last iteration I sent you, and Joanne, I don't think I can screen share with the way things. Oh, I can. Do you want me to?
Sure. That way, if anybody else is joining us.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Faith, I thought it was really, really telling that you didn't know where the Nonoquishus Brook was. Could talk about invisible, just totally invisible. And it looks really sad from West Main Street.
That there's a couple of places where I put signs on this map where it will be beneficial to clear some brush and potentially just like, particularly I was walking down like at the Rotary, and I know that might not be a beauty spot, but it could be if it was cleared and if that guardrail wasn't so heinous. This is sort of, I'm wondering if part of this it might be helpful for us is like, what does the view look like? And thinking about it, it sounds like we're going to have to prioritize, and that might be a useful project.
Yes.
To do as well. But the other thing I couldn't find, Joanne, was I was paddling on Lower Long Pond, and I saw a bridge. I saw a dam. It looked like a trail, but I have no idea how to get to that trail.
Oh, Jess can hook you up.
Yeah, that the access to there is off of Wright Road, which runs behind Sandy Pond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you go down a little path, maybe about a quarter mile, and you come to that bridge.
Nice walk in.
Yeah, it's a very pretty walk, and but that's the access to that bridge. And then on the other side of the bridge, it goes nowhere.
It just stops.
Yeah, it goes because you start to hit private property.
Okay.
So,
Does that matter?
Really.
well, we couldn't put signs on private property. Yeah.
Got about a minute left.
Yeah, so the access, Faith, if you wanted to look at that further, is there's a pretty much across from Standish Avenue, which runs off of Wright Road.
Okay, I'm sure I can find it. I do want to just say what Joanne said, which is, how do these placements look? I think they're mostly public land. I don't really know some of this roadside stuff, if it is or not. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
These look great.
We like yay or nay each one of these quickly, like go through A, B, C all the way down.
Sure, you want to do that? If you can see it well enough, I guess I might be able to get my cursor up there. I don't know if you can see that. So A is up in the upper right on Long Pond.
Yeah. Everybody okay with that one?
Sounds good.
Okay.
And then B is, there's a trail network there. I didn't know if it was worth having a sign there. I haven't been on those trails. I saw an entry point and I thought that's probably where a lot of people go. I was trying to think of where people see the sign.
Mm-hmm.
That might be negotiable if we had to cut back, if we had to cut down on how many we wanted to do. Have the A there, but not B.
Right.
We'd have one vicinity to start.
So A would be like a priority 1, and B would be maybe the next level priority 2, let's say.
Yeah. And C, I think 2 would not be top priority because that trail is so hard to find.
Correct. That's what I was thinking.
But D, Sandy Pond Beach, I think is a great place for one.
Yep.
Although,
I'd like to see like on a triangle there.
yeah. Although I was wondering, you've got that the beach house says in huge letters, Sandy Pond. What would we gain from the sign being right there as well?
You think it's redundant?
Yeah, that's my only concern. On the other hand, if you get over to E, you've got a sign that can indicate both Sandy Pond and Flanagan Pond.
Good point.
To show
Yep.
both ponds on one side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and we could also think about moving D to the east, where if you're coming into Ayer on Sandy Pond Road, you see views to Sandy Pond well before you see the beach house. And
Coming from the east, Joanne?
Coming
yeah,
from the schoolhouse.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. And the only thing I'd say no to that is it's no walk, it's always just a drive. I was hoping to keep everything, more like to a sidewalk where somebody could stop. Everything up there is all private, and yeah, that would be my only concern.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that is a good point. But so there is sidewalk along Flanagan, I think, closer to the center of town.
Yes, there's a
H.
pump house,
Yep.
which is, I'm sort of, I think it's right in here where my little cursors, I would have to look at a real map to see it, but I
Yeah.
think it's right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah, actually, you can move H to the pump house. That might not be bad, as opposed to there where the like the fishing access or whatever. One or the other.
I don't want to cut this off, but we are just cutting into the rest of our time, which is fine, but just so you're all aware.
Right.
Okay. Okay, why don't we just all, if we have access to this map, that we could just go through it and think about it and put down your yay or nays, and we can talk about it next time.
Okay.
Although
Sorry, this is
We could
amazing work.
We could just
Yeah.
send them to Joanne. Joanne gets them to Faith, or send them both to Joanne and Faith, and just send it that way.
Yeah, I think so. And if I don't think we have time to wait for the meeting on this. I think this is something we need to be working on this week, along with getting some kind of prices for these signs, so that Faith can get this in for the beginning of the first day of April, which is
So-
coming.
I guess I would just word it as, we will use the $5,000 to put up as many signs as we can based on this priority. And
Right.
whatever that, basically whatever that will get us. So
Okay.
that way you don't have to worry so much about the price per se, but say, we estimate them to be a cost of roughly 200, 500, whatever we think they might be roughly, and just kind of go with that, right?
Yeah, and I feel like I think we'd have a better shot if we were at least within the same number of zeros. If it's $100 a sign, or $500 a sign, or $1,000 a sign. I think we need to know that.
Right.
And
Yep.
George, if we got this and we had covered, say, most of the signs, but we had like 2 more and we were just so close, is that something we could use the wetland fund for?
I don't think so. The wetland fund is for administering the Wetlands Protection Act.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'll do is work on the page 2. I'll wait for the rest of that input about the map from you all and circulate another version of it. Sorry about the different iterations. It's just kind of how it's working out. And I'll call and find out about that 501c3 thing. Maybe we can find a 501c3 that we can rope into this.
Well, and I looked, this says town government is not a 501c.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. Can you, and Faith, can you also maybe add the Nashua River up there by the Buddhist temple?
Oh, sure.
Off of, just
Yeah.
beyond Tiny?
I'll reposition the map so that that is there. I want the brook to be where M is, that's where the brook is, and the map needs to be repositioned. I just didn't have a chance to reposition it. I'll do that.
Yeah. Really, this whole effort was undertaken because there is no sign that says this is the Nashua River as you're driving over it. And
Yeah, agreed. And Joanne, I totally agree with you. That's like, we have to identify that one. So
yeah.
but Faith, awesome write-up, Faith. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, it's my pleasure.
Give
Thanks
us
for,
a deadline though. Joe, somebody give us a deadline for,
Wednesday,
okay.
Wednesday at noon.
I knew. All right, thanks very much.
Thank you, Faith. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night.
I thank you. So we have 24 minutes for the rest of our agenda.
All right. Our next item this evening is a discussion exempt minor activities and other possible regulations for air local wetlands protection bylaw. All righty. And
So in your beautiful green binders that Jen so beautifully filled,
Lovely.
aren't they nice?
Hand punched.
you
Oh.
did?
Awesome.
No, we have a hole punch. It's look like 2 minutes.
I might stack them all up and just use a drill,
Next time.
Yeah. So the first thing in the binder is Jen's spreadsheet for regulation. So I kind of squished it together a little bit so that we would be able to fit it on this big piece of paper, which is why we lost the vertical lines. And I also added a couple of rows in the first column. Anyway, it seemed like a great way to organize the discussion about where we are and where this is going.
And I'm definitely fine. I realize we're short on time and everything, that if you all want to send me your thoughts individually, so we're not congregating outside of our open meetings, I'm happy to put stuff together, do whatever we can to make sure we use our time as wisely as we can.
Okay.
Well, we have some time.
Yep.
This evening.
A little bit.
One thing I want to catch you up on, and I'll take this out of office updates and put it in this discussion, is I did contact Kim Roth, our circuit rider, about removal of invasive species by hand pulling. And at first she thought I was talking about doing something like pulling water chestnut, invasive water chestnut out of water. And I said, no, I'm really talking more about residents want to reclaim their beaches from Phragmites and cattails. And she said, you know as well as I do that nobody can hand pull those two plants. I said, well, yeah, I know that. It doesn't mean people won't try. So she pointed me in the direction of regulation 10.53, I think. I can't find my note, which is the ecological restoration limited project. And I didn't bring my regulations home with me tonight, so you guys, somebody would have to look it up to see if that's the right citation. I think it is. And so I also haven't had a chance to look at that to see what it says.
Just 10.53.
10.53. 4, maybe 10.53. You know, I write these things down so that I won't lose them and I can look them up and then.
Oh, ecological restoration limited projects is 10.53 dash or 4, 10.53 4.
3 parens 4, yeah.
Can issue an order of conditions permitting ecological restoration and impose such conditions, blah, blah, blah. If the project does not have any adverse long-term or short-term effects on specified habitat. Yeah. I'm not sure it would count on that. Oh, she gives examples, dam removal, freshwater stream crossing repair, stream daylighting projects, tidal restoration, other restoration projects. I don't,
Well, so if we're restoring the sandy bottom fish spawning habitat of Sandy Pond for bluegills, say, by removing Phragmites and other plants that are leading to eutrophication, that, you know, I think we could make an argument for that.
yeah. So in all that free time we have in our meetings, at some point get her in and talk to us.
I know.
Are we gonna provide information on, I mean, if people come to us and say they want to remove Phragmite, do we try to tell them how to do it?
Well, I
Because
guess
if you do it wrong, you're just gonna make it worse.
I know we would have to tell them they need to file a notice of intent, I guess.
Yeah. So the question this originally came up with was whether, like Sturbridge does, we could do this as a minor activity. It's sounding more complicated. You know, there is an issue of encouraging people to create mayhem. Might not be a good idea.
Yeah. And we know a lot of humans are really good at mayhem.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the thing to do with this is to spend some time looking at it. It really is a beautifully organized document, and maybe adding ideas about what else could be included in each of these categories as a discussion. Or I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's fine in light of our upcoming meetings being so full. If we all kind of make our own notes and I can put them together and share with everybody.
Is your dog being demanding?
He wants on the lap, down, up, down. He's not.
Show us his face.
Oh,
That's why I continue to pick him up and put him down.
Yep.
Horrible.
Cute is a very good survival strategy.
Indeed.
All right, so we can all look at this and make notes and get those to you, Jen, and everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Okie dokie. Nicely done, by the way. Thank you for doing that.
My pleasure. I can start on a draft of like a new form too, if you think that would be helpful. We were talking about having a form, just like a very basic, this is what we're doing form, so I can start on that too, if that would be good.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Moving on in our remaining 10 minutes. Are we going to go right to Conservation Office updates? And if we have time, then we will circle on back to review special conditions boilerplate.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
All right, can you give us some Conservation Office updates?
Yes, I think just for general information to the whole public, saying that the order of conditions that we issued for 0 Central Ave has been appealed to DEP by the applicant. And I talked to DEP about what, if anything, we need to do now that that's happened, and was told the process goes along the lines of Denise Child will be reviewing the appeal for completeness, and then she'll assign it to an analyst who will analyze it and eventually set a site visit for the commission and the applicant, where we will have, as will the applicant have, a chance to make our case to the analyst. And then DEP will make their decision about whether to affirm our order of conditions or to write a superseding order of conditions, or I think do nothing was an option, but I'm not really sure now that I say that what that means. So that's where that stands.
And Joanne, when the time comes to meet with the analyzer or the person that comes out, we can only have 2 commissioners on site.
Unless we post it as a public meeting.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Would that be on the property?
Or the bridge.
Or the bridge.
I don't know.
Bring your binoculars.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure DEP is going to want to actually see with their eyes and their feet on the property, but
We have to get permission from Ruth to go on the property.
We'll come at it from the backside.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So anyway,
That'll be interesting.
Yep. And Kim also said this is going to take quite some time. So for us not to spend any amount of worry over this, because it's going to be a good long while before they get back to us. While I was on the phone with her about that, I talked to her about 10.53. We've dispensed with that. Mark, in answer to your question at the last meeting about the soil piles on John Carroll Reserve, I did call Nick Pauling, the environmental monitor, and he said the soil piles are still very much like chess pieces, and they're being moved from here to there. And they're all very aware that if a soil pile stays in one place for more than 30 days under our order of conditions, it has to be stabilized at that point. But he assured me that nothing has stayed still for 30 days so far. And on that project, I heard from the building department assistant that the first 6 building permits have been applied for. So they're going to get, they've got the site work pretty well squared away. They have our conservation restriction signs on temporary posts on the back sides of all the lots. So there won't be any surprise on the part of a homeowner when these signs suddenly sprout, because they're already there, which is very good.
Of those 6 building permits, how many of them will have to come before us? Do you know? Or do any of them?
You know, it's been so long since I've looked at that file, I don't have any idea, really. I know they're starting at the end of the cul-de-sac road and working back out towards Littleton Road. But that's, I will look that up. I'm gonna have to look it up actually before I can sign off on the building permits. See which ones have conservation jurisdiction. And let's see, the other thing to tell you this afternoon, late this afternoon, I did the erosion control inspection for the Shaker Mill Pond subdivision. Dan Aho hired S&M Farms, which is the kind of the premier erosion control installation company in the area. And I'll tell you, I don't know why anybody bothers to use anybody else, or even why they bother to try to install them themselves. This is such a beautiful, perfect installation. It really is just remarkable. Just the way it's supposed to be. And it must be a quarter of a mile. It's really from the very beginning of the access road to the back of the golf course, all the way back. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's perfect. So they're starting the tree removal pretty soon. They're going to let me know the day that the tree removal starts. So if I get phone calls, I'll at least know what's going on. And I did ask the site supervisor, Dana, when they thought they might be doing the directional drilling project. I thought it was a little interesting that they were starting with the tree clearing instead of the directional drilling. And he said they're going to be doing that in the late spring, possibly early summer, to let the groundwater have a chance to drop, so that there would be less likelihood of flooding in those pits where they have to put the drilling rig.
Yep.
Which was, I thought, very good idea. And the other update is that we've got like 5 RDAs on our agenda for the upcoming meeting. 2 of them are swimming pools. The McDonald's notice of intent is going to open at our upcoming meeting. And then we also have the Autumn Ridge Farm CR monitoring report that they do annually to maintain the status of their conservation restriction. So those RDAs, you know, I thought as I was filling up that agenda with RDAs that seemed so distant in the future, and yet here we are, and the agenda's full. And so I'm already starting to put stuff on the first meeting in April.
So why don't you block out some time periods there for stuff that's already in process?
Yeah.
And we don't have time for a new one. That one, they have to wait.
Right. And the RDA that came in today, I had to tell him, you know, I'm going to have to send you the letter that says we have to open this more than 21 days after it has been received. So that's where we're at. And so I guess I'm saying buckle up, because here we go. It's not winter anymore.
If we
Yeah.
needed, if we really needed to, we could put Steve Smith off a meeting or two.
Well, we could, we've already put him off once, and he asked to be put off once. And I see it's 8:30, so that's really all I have to say.
Anyone else have any comments?
Well, let me start.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Kidding.
When do we
No
get
one?
when do we gotta get the stuff to Jen? Did we set a date on that? Did I miss it?
Oh,
I think we have a couple of weeks to do that. We're not going to be able to talk about it at the upcoming meeting.
Okay.
And I can put it together and send it out to you so you can individually look at the notes too.
You mean
So-
after we all respond to you, Jen, is what you mean?
After you all respond to me individually, I can send it out to you for additional individual.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are adjourned.